call the September 19th, 2016 meeting to order. Mr. Clayton, if you would give us an invocation, and Mr. Perrier, if you would lead us in the pledge, please.
Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, please be with us as we go about this meeting. Please be with all of those people here that have items before us today. Please be with our young men and women as they go about doing their duty to protect us. All of those in uniform, both in this country and abroad. In thy holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Anybody got anything they want to change on the agenda?
Did you want to add the additional closed session?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Put it
I'd like to add a closed session so we can consult with our lawyer also. Any other adjustments? Not, I have a motion to accept the agenda as presented with the addition of the closed session.
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We got a little ceremony here this morning. Miss Annie Gibson.
I did not see her, sir.
Okay, we'll do it when she gets here. All right.
We got one other up there.
Cynthia.
Mhm.
Miss Perry.
Cynthia.
Miss Petty.
Cynthia Petty. Could you come forward, please? No, you can just stand right there. Whereas Lieutenant Cynthia Petty has served the people of Person County during her tenure doing the work of Sheriff's Department, most recently as Sheriff's Deputy Division Supervisor, and whereas Lieutenant Cynthia Petty has served the citizens of Person County with honor, integrity, sincerity, and dedication, providing accurate, concise services from July of 1987 through August of 2016, retiring with 30 years of service. Whereas Lieutenant Cynthia Petty has earned the respect and admiration of all those who have known her and worked with her throughout her career, and whereas the County of Person recognizes many contributions Lieutenant Petty has made to the county and offers her sincere best wishes for her retirement. Now therefore, I, David Newell Sr., Chairman of the Person County Commissioners, do hereby extend this resolution of appreciation to Lieutenant Cynthia Petty for continually striving to make Roxborough and Person County a better place to live and work. Thank you very much. Now you come forward. Thank you. You got anything you'd like to say? Feel free. Oh, they've been left out for you.
Oh, yeah.
I'd truly like to say thank you on behalf of Person County to be able to work here for 30 years of service. I've enjoyed my tenure here. I had the privilege to work under 3 sheriffs, and at my retirement, all 3 of them were present. I'm thankful for that. I love Sheriff Jones, and he's here, and his staff. He's a good man. And I'll tell you, all of y'all, I see my chief back there, and that's Carol and Cunningham, and I thank them for being here today. But most of all, I thank my husband and my children. They made this possible. And I thank you all, and I appreciate everything I've worked for. Now I'm enjoying myself right now.
All right. We got a proclamation for Relay for Life. A proclamation for the American Cancer Society Relay for Life of Person County. Whereas Relay for Life is a signature activity of the American Cancer Society and celebrates cancer survivors and caregivers, remembers loved ones lost to the disease, and empowers individuals and communities to fight back against cancer. And whereas the American Cancer Society is a volunteer community-based coalition of local citizens dedicated to eliminating cancer as a major health problem through financial support and education awareness. And whereas money raised during Relay for Life of Person County supports the American Cancer Society mission of saving lives and creating a world with less cancer and more birthdays, and financially benefits the American Society's research, patient support programs, and educationally benefits our local citizens. And whereas the color purple is a signature color of the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life events, signifying the passion that cancer survivors and their families and loved ones feel for the eradication of this disease. And whereas the American Cancer Society Relay for Life in Person County is a community event that allows an opportunity to network with businesses, associates, family, and friends with the same goal of making a difference in the battle against cancer. Now therefore, the Person County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim September 26th through 30th as Paint the County Purple Week, and September 30th through October 1st as Relay for Life days throughout Person County, and urge all citizens to recognize and participate in the anti-cancer campaign held in our community. Now therefore, the Person County Board of Commissioners also proclaims the recognition of Relay for Life event as the Purple Ribbon Campaign to show your support for those individuals living with cancer and honor those individuals that have lost their life to the dreaded disease of cancer. If Michelle Nance and Carmen Carden would come forward, I'd like to present you with this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me bring my work.
Thank you.
Ms. Gibson here?
Thank you.
Thank you for
All
your
right, Ms. Gibson, just throw a rock at me.
Okay.
All right, we got anybody signed up on the informal?
Yes, sir, one.
Okay. Miss Betty Blaylock. I get it right that time?
Scottish. Blue Lake. I'll be brief. Okay. I just want to report, and I can't smile about this because every week, I hope to the dear God above that I don't have to keep coming every time and give you more deaths and more cancer. It's just southeast of that God-forsaken landfill. One more died this week. It's in his 50s, but according to the health department, if you're over 50, it doesn't matter. Okay, in the paper. That's what was printed last year. And then one more. Who's got it? I found another one this week. I got a call. There's another one this week that's got it. Something has got to be done, and getting rid of that thing is the first thing we need to do. And it'll still come because it's in the ground. It's in the ground, and it'll keep coming. I'm going to read you something from yesterday's area paper. There's a 391-acre Little River Regional Park a few miles north of Hillsborough and Durham. If I ever move, it'll be on the Eno, okay? The park owes its existence to a 1999 proposal to locate a construction and demolition landfill in northeast Orange County. That proposal was rejected, but it drew attention to only a few, two remaining areas along the Little River where the opportunity still existed to protect a large area of ecologically significant habitat. You'll note that last time or the time before I talked about Republic Industries and the company out of Raleigh who said that we were insignificant down in that area. We were insignificant. Orange and Durham counties agreed to acquire the land, and they partnered with several of the associations And so they are willing to protect their habitat. But why? To protect their people. Some of you consider us insignificant. I do not thank you for that, and I urge you to reject this, thing that will come up again. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody had a chance to look at the consent agenda. Anybody got anything you want to talk about with that?
Move for approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Commissioner Jeffers, the floor is yours.
All right, we have,
That's a good thought.
is that an aye vote for these resolutions? You all know that your chairman assigned me to serve on our committee here for the county, and they have come up with several resolutions that they want us to consider. Those are included in your packet. I think, Ms. Frances Laylock is here as a member of the committee, as well as our chairperson, Sandy Pleasant. And, so I'm gonna, actually, I'll turn the floor over to one of them to explain kind of the thinking of the committee and some of these resolutions.
I didn't hear what you asked me to do, and I'm vice
If
chair,
you just
not
want-
chair.
Well, if you just want to come and speak to the resolutions that were passed by the committee.
And, well, I have them here. I don't know what you want me to say about them. I think they speak for themselves. Did you want me to read the
Maybe any
resolution?
commissioners have any questions before we.
Okay.
So I support either one of those. As she said, the resolutions are for improving roadside cleanup in Person County, whereas the North Carolina Department of DOT budgets approximately $16 million a year for litter removal according to DOT representatives, whereas Person County is eager to reinstate a cleanup program for county roadsides, and whereas Person County requests equal consideration in the statewide litter removal process. Now therefore be it resolved that the NCDOT, one, supply details to each county regarding how funds are allocated by county, and two, give an accounting as to how those funds are used. The second resolution is for education and action on recycled materials, whereas many recycled materials are being trashed throughout every county, whereas these materials can provide more revenue when recycled than when buried, whereas many of these items are on the list that are required to be recycled, and whereas action is required at the state level. Now therefore be it resolved that the North Carolina General Assembly, one, increase recycling of these items by imposing deposit on bottles and cans, and two, impose a deposit on recycled packaging materials. Three, a resolution to re-stimulate the adopt a highway program. Whereas the state has an adopted highway program that is not doing the job of keeping the roadsides clean, whereas many of the roads have not been adopted, and whereas many of those that have been adopted are not being cleaned on a regular basis. Now therefore be it resolved that the adopted highway coordinator, one, requests regular reporting from those who have adopted the highway, two, inform and educate the county on what is being done, and three, make a plan with the county coordinator to expand and improve the local program. Last resolution is a resolution for countywide mandatory recycling, whereas landfill space use can be minimized through the use of our recycling center, whereas the statewide waste reduction goal is 40%, and Person County is about 5%, whereas it costs county citizens approximately $40 a ton to bury a ton of recyclables, whereas Person County is losing a revenue stream when people fail to recycle, and whereas Person County is violating state recycling laws by wasting these valuable resources. Now therefore be it resolved that the Person County Board of Commissioners, one, take a position on recycling that shows that our examples for citizens to follow, two, initiate programs to maximize the use of our recycling center, three, require citizens to abide by the state laws and either bring their recyclables to the Person County Recycling Center or pay a collection to dispose of them in the proper manner.
In light of this being brought to the board prior to today by Mr. Torring, there was no action taken at the time that Mr. Torring brought it before the board. And with the current franchise negotiations that parallel a lot of the issues that are in here, I'd like to make a motion to table these resolutions for this time.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a substitute motion to approve resolution for improving roadside cleanup in Person County, resolution for education and action on recycled materials, and a resolution to re-stimulate the adopted highway program. These resolutions simply show support, and that we could send letters not only to our representatives at the General Assembly, but also to maybe the State Department, the Secretary, and even maybe our local NCDOT office.
Mr. Chairman, when a tabled motion is on the table, there are no substitute amendments that should be allowed until a vote has taken place.
Is that right? All right. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor of tabling the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
3-2. All right. Ms. Sybil Tate, Stormwater Agreement.
Good morning, Commissioners. I hope this is the last item I bring before you regarding the Mount Tirzah Tower before construction begins. Unfortunately, as the state has moved forward with the drawings, they have determined that the Mount Tirzah Tower will meet the stormwater threshold, and it is in the Falls Lake area. And so the state has agreed to pay to install the BMP and construct the BMP. However, they have asked the county to do the maintenance and inspections. So this would entail, our staff looking into making sure the BMP is working correctly each year, and also for our general services and Parks and Rec staff to make sure the plants are alive and there's no trash in the BMP. So the request from the state is that we take on the inspections and maintenance, and any cost associated with that would be paid for with stormwater funds. So I'm asking that you allow the county to take on that responsibility.
All right, any discussion? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the taking up of the maintenance, planning, mowing, and trash removal of the site, since the state is graciously paying for the communication tower to be put in.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Amy here?
Yes.
Fire and rescue audit proposals.
There are 2 recommended fire and rescue audit proposals in your packets for consideration. The one from Winston Williams, Creech, and Evans would cover auditing services for all volunteer and rescue agencies with the exception of Woodsdale Volunteer Fire Department. They kept their cost estimate per department flat with what they charged for the fiscal year 14 audit reports at $2,750 each. This would equate to a total of $22,000 for the 8 departments. We had to send out a separate request for proposal to cover Woodsdale's audit due to the fact that there was a staff member under Winston Williams, Creech, and Evans that had been recently contracted by Woodsdale to perform some account reconciliation. This provision of services prevents their firm from being able to issue an independent opinion of Woodsdale's audit review. Therefore, we issued a separate request for proposal with the same requirements for Woodsdale and received a proposal from William L. Stark and Company out of Henderson, North Carolina. Their cost estimate was offered for $2,950, a minimum increase over Winston Williams, Creech, and Evans per report by $200. The total cost to retain both auditors for the requested services comes to $24,950. If you are satisfied with each of the proposal's terms, I would ask that you approve the appropriation from fund balance for both proposals to cover fiscal year 16's audit services for all 9 volunteer fire and rescue departments for the total of $24,950 to be expensed from the contracted services line item in the governing body department where the previous fiscal year 14 audits were funded. If approved by the board, I will obtain a contract from each auditor for the chairman's signature at a later date.
Why the suggestion for fund balance and not the contingency?
It's early.
It is, it's
Early
early
in
in
the
the
fiscal
year,
year.
and usually we try to hold contingency for real emergencies. We knew this was something that the board wanted. It was just that we didn't have things in place to be able to appropriate from fund balance when we adopted the budget.
There's been some questions from the fire department as if some of the required materials that I think we require, they felt like that, they were kind of rushed, that they could have maybe been let known a little earlier about some of these.
Well, it was
documents and
rushed.
things.
That fiscal year 14
And,
process was very rushed
okay.
because it was a last minute decision to sort of get that in place. The auditors only had, I think, about 2 months to really pull the whole audit together, whereas now they have through April 30th. So there should be ample time to
Okay,
collect this
very good.
information.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, any further discussion? No, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Heidi, you got the floor.
I do. Good morning, Commissioners. At your August 15th meeting, we were reviewing an application for the county's revolving loan fund, and the board directed me to bring back some revisions for you to consider as updates to your revolving loan fund program. So staff took the opportunity to gather some other similar revolving loan fund programs around the state. So I have 4 examples for you in your packet. And basically, in your abstract, I've highlighted for you any of the major differences between those programs and person counties. So we looked at such things as the amount of funding that was available for the loans, the terms of the loans. I know the board was concerned that our half of prime rate may not be competitive in today's market. We also looked at the terms, rates, and then the process. And so overall, my recommendation would be that you're correct in assuming that our rate is not competitive. You can see, I've outlined for you, most places are offering a range with a minimum of prime or a maximum of prime with a minimum of a set rate. Orange County had a variable rate term depending on the type of loan request that they had received. And then there are also, varying amounts that folks are requesting. So specifically, we looked at Franklin County, Orange County, Roseboro, which was included in here because they have recently updated theirs in August of 2016, so their terms are very current. And then we also discovered that your Council of Governments, the COG, does their own revolving loan program for which Person County is eligible to send applications from this area to be considered for that program. So within the COG, the only other county that has their own revolving loan program is Franklin in Person. But I wanted to make you aware that if you preferred, you could simply use the COG program and not necessarily have your own here in Person County. So that might be something for your consideration as well.
I will comment on the COG program. They have a banking committee that reviews all of that.
Yes.
So it didn't just go straight to the COG board, sort of like stuff came straight to us.
Right.
They had at one time, I don't know whether they're still on it or not, but they had a Person County's representative was from over here at Roxborough Savings Bank, and that person may have retired, but they have a financial type person on that board from several of the counties, so that it didn't just come straight to them. It's already been through almost the same loan process you go through at a bank. It's just some different rules because these have to fit the USDA and the other guidelines as far as the COG is concerned. And they, of course, they are higher risk, but they put them through a pretty good,
Yeah.
round of questions and answers and different things that they're doing with that project.
They had a very extensive review
So,
process, as you're indicating, and they also review their plan every 5 years. So the information and the rates and the terms are very competitive. They've kept up with that quite a bit. The rates that they set for theirs are a minimum of 4% or a maximum of 75% of prime. And you'll recall that the loan that the board approved back in August, your rate was 1.75. You did half of prime. But I did note that in your own program, there is a bit of wiggle room in the language on the rate. It says that the interest rate on each loan shall be set at no less than 50% of prime. And I think it's been our practice to set it at 50% of prime, but you don't have to do that. You have the ability to negotiate the loan terms. So there might be enough wiggle room in there if you did not want to change that language.
I think in light of the finding that Cartar has this program available and it has people that actually work on it, I know the amount of time that our staff put into getting this last one through, and we kind of had to make some of the rules as we went along because we had to get someone from Roxborough Savings to look over the loan and do some of that type work. Not making a motion just but for discussion, I would prefer us referring our county residents to the Cartar. We're part of this Council of Governments, and they seem more adept at doing this type of loan for our citizens and our residents.
Any other discussion?
You want to put that in form of a motion?
Yes, since there's no more discussion, I'd like to make a motion that we utilize the Cartar Regional Council of Governments for small business loans that would typically come through under the old rules. And I don't know how that would be worded, Ron or Brenda, but utilizing just as an information source from us to refer them to Cartar Regional Council of Governments and use the small business loan program that they have
In place of ours.
in place of ours.
Is that sufficient, Mr. Attorney?
I don't think it's a intent to repeal the county's program. An option could be to repeal the county's program and therefore put in place only what is existent. You could provide that the priority would be given to utilizing the Cartar program and keep our program in effect. Policy decision for y'all. Do you want to repeal, or do you want to establish a priority to go to the Cartar?
Repeal.
When we did monetary support to the Halls Way, how did we do that? It wasn't through this program.
It was not through this program, it was through the industrial incentive program, basically.
Which most small businesses won't qualify for, is that
Correct.
correct? And so my concern here is, as much as we talk about small businesses and as much as we try to do for some of these large businesses that don't always, or industries here in the county that don't always hold up on their end of the deal, I would hate for us to still consider incentive things for those large industries but not have anything in place for our own Person County small businesses. I understand what you're saying, that we can refer them to that program, but I would not get rid of our program in lieu of, because we do have some local control over that program. If we need to adhere some rules or make some circumstances like we did this last loan. And I mean, a lot of us talk about small businesses, and we really look at exactly what do we do for them. I think this is at least one avenue that we can show them that we have for them. I mean, I'm not in favor of repealing it.
Okay, could I amend my motion to say that we would utilize the Cartar Regional Council of Governments loan program as a first resort, and if no other options are available, then we would go to the county program, but utilize the outline rather than our existing outline that Cartar utilizes. So the interest rates, with the exception of the maximum amount, because I see that they go up to $200,000, I would like to limit ours to $100,000 and using the interest rates and time frames that are on Cartar.
I will accept it as a friendly amendment.
Mr. Chairman, just as a matter of wording, you can adopt the motion as proposed, but you should probably authorize the attorney and the staff to fine-tune the language and bring it back to you.
Okay. That's what he says.
That's what you meant.
Why you over there, Ron?
That's my motion.
And
That's
that-
what you-
That needs to be reviewed every year, so. All right, everybody understand the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Chairman's report. Don't have anything other than to mention that Hall's Way is having a grand opening on Thursday. I think it's at 5:30.
That's correct.
Okay. It's a great addition to Uptown. Appreciate everybody coming out that can. We are also gonna be opening or celebrating the Veterans Park Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. That's a great addition to our community and certainly recognition to the ones that fought for us to be able to do what we're doing here today. And so I would highly encourage as many as you can to come to that on Saturday morning. Other than that, manager report.
We wanted to just confirm the cancellation of the public hearing and remind the public that that's not happening tonight related to the solid waste franchise agreement. There's also an invitation for commissioners to serve on the Community Services Block Grant Committee. That's the process that's being facilitated by the Telemon Corporation for Person, Caswell, and Rockingham County. They need an elected official from each of those counties. They meet quarterly, and the meetings are moved around to one of the 3 counties. So if you have an interest and I could submit your name, please let me know. And other than that, we're working with the gas shortage I'm sure you're aware of. I'm told that the local service stations will hold a reserve for public service vehicles, so we should be okay in terms of our ambulance and fire and other emergency needs. And we'll keep you posted if that changes. That's all I had, Chairman.
All right. Mr. Jeffers, you got anything you need to?
Did want to mention this, and Sylvia can talk to it a little bit more, but it is a Litter Sweep program that starts September 17th, goes through October 1st with our NCDOT. You can go to the website, volunteer locally. I think we want to put it up on our Facebook page and our website, so to speak. And then, Michelle, looked like you were going to say something about Relay for Life, and we moved on. Is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I was just gonna say thank you for supporting us in our efforts, and for allowing us to decorate Garrett Commons as the kickoff for Paint the County Purple. And thank you to Mr. Jeffers, who's gonna be one of the judges in our contest.
All I have.
Mr. Clayton? Mr. Perry?
I'm good.
All righty. I need a motion to go into closed session for the consideration and acquisition of lease of real property. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Brenda Reed, well, everybody knows who this vote is. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're in closed session.
All right.
Do it. Do it.